And welcome to yet another Total Conflict mixed martial arts event. Total Conflict MMA 3 coming at you live. And we are ready for another exciting event of mixed martial arts virtual violence. Tonight, I am not going to be here by myself, and tonight I'm not going to be here with Versatile. I know you're all extremely tired of him. I can agree. But tonight I'm here with a very special guest. Tonight, commentating with me will be none other than Crodon himself. Crodon, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Happy to be here enjoying the Total Conflict booth. It looks like we have a great card on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. Well, let's, as we do, get into it very quickly because we do have our very first fight waiting to start. So, tonight, we'll be getting started with the one and only Dasuki, who has recently made a very quick name for himself in not just Total Conflict, but in the overall community scene. He will be fighting against Nasty. Going after, continuing on with our prelims, will be Legacy versus H the World, who will be making his debut. We have a lot of Xbox fights tonight, and that will be starting off the Xbox fights. Following that will be Jody BJJ versus Dizzy, and then we'll be going into Viper at the featherweight division against, against Panju. Our last prelim fight before we get into the main event, the main card will be Muay Thai Jesus versus BKAJ. For the PlayStation. The main card will be getting started with Diddy versus Saucy, both of which guys are making their debut on the Xbox. Gotta say, guys, you are killing it on the Xbox scene. We have not seen this many Xbox signups and Xbox replacements getting ready for tonight. You guys are killing it tonight. We love to see it. After Diddy versus Saucy will be Up to Back versus AKA MG for a PlayStation fight. 3 fights left on the card. Spooky versus a fan favorite in Ben Jammy on the Xbox. Your co-main event, WR of Khalil versus WR of Smokey, a WR of battle. And that's going to be an excellent fight right there. And then for your main event, good lord, I can't speak tonight. I apologize. Your reigning Xbox champion 4-0, the absolute heel of the community, the person that nobody likes, your John Jones of the community, JayUFC versus Breezy, coming into this title fight with a 1-0 record on the Xbox. Crodon, do you have any thoughts on these fights tonight before we get into it, my friend?
Yeah, we have a lot of names top to bottom throughout this card. And if I had to pinpoint one matchup that I'm really looking forward to, that would have to be Spooky versus Benjami, both longtime household names almost, you could say, in the with the UFC scene, and then with Benjami's case, also with Fight Night champion, multi-sport talent right there. So there's a lot of good fights, a lot of good scraps I'm looking forward to, Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely one that I'm looking forward to as well. I mean, Benjami is a fan favorite for a reason because he is such a exciting fighter, a guy who is willing to live and die by the sword. But before we get into such an exciting fight, let's go ahead and get to our very first prelim match between Dasuki and his opponent, Nasty, making his debut. Now, Dasuki is 0-1 going into this fight on the PlayStation against Nasty, who is making his debut. But Nasty has been in the community for quite a moment, Crodon. So, what are your thoughts going into this fight?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing how Daisuke plays. I've seen his name float around a lot, so we'll have to see how Oath deals with the hype train that's coming his way. Interesting matchup. We got the Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira. We did
You
see
ready to
that
fight?
bout play out in real life.
Ready.
We'll have to see how it plays out in UFC 5.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a little bit of lag started off with this first round. Hopefully that clears up after a moment. 3 rounds on the clock for Daisuke and Nasty. And, for Daisuke, he, let me tell you, Jordan, he kind of made a little bit of a name for himself immediately starting into the primetime scene, and he was absolutely manhandled, doing his best to cosplay as a UFC 5 ranked player. He was red immediately, and for the next 2.5, maybe even 3 rounds, he was dismantled. But since then, he has started to come back and, have a much cleaner play style. And quite frankly, while he hasn't always had success, I think it's definitely played to his favor in becoming, much more of a consumable and, viewer-friendly competitor, Proton.
You definitely love to see it, cleaning up the play. I just have to issue a correction. There was a pullout or withdrawal with Nasty couldn't make it to the fight, and opposite of Daisuke is actually Oath Gex, also known as Trains. So a bit of a newcomer opposite him in the fight tonight, but doing a good showing of himself so far. He's on his bottom. Daisuke moved his way to side control right there, Jedi.
Yeah, excellent movement from Daisuke. Now, this is exactly where he does his best work, is on the ground. So while his stand-up, has criticism of its own, his ground game speaks for itself. Big Rock leads into a armbar attempt, looking for the submission. He has an opportunity to get it here, Croton.
Yeah, it's looking dangerous with the stamina. Both these fighters very low, but both manages to escape, and now he's on top of full guard. 1.5 minutes to go in this round. There hasn't been too much action other than the big ground and pound sequence Daisuke just got off, but Oath has some work to do if he wants to steal this round back in his favor with just over 1 minute left to go, Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely. Both guys doing work on the ground, and Daisuke is able to get back to his feet. Good chance that he's going to try and get it back to the ground with a little over 50 seconds on the clock. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be the ultimate goal for this round, but there's a good chance that he may have won the round with the damage that he did on the ground earlier this round, Proton.
Yeah, I'd have to say so. And if you look at their stamina, both of them expended a fair bit. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out throughout the rest of the fight, though. They'll be returning to their stools hopefully soon, able to recover that heading into that second round.
And there's the clock. I'm going to excuse myself for half a second so I can grab my iPad so I can keep an eye on Twitch. I'm sure there's people yelling at me in chat, so hang tight. I'll be right back.
And looking at the stats, it kind of played out how we're discussing it. Daisuke did manage to get that one little stun off of that ground with the elbow in that ground and pound sequence before he moved on to the armbar attempt. Ultimately was unsuccessful with that, but that should have been enough for him to be leading this fight 10-9. Both these guys exchanging punches, lead uppercut from Oath, but then a rear hook by Daisuke, who shoots a double leg bail and manages to pull guard. And now he has him in triangle control right there.
Looked like Oat was looking for the fake, and he finally commits to it, gets out of the triangle, but immediately his back is taken by Daisuke. Daisuke looking to flatten out, but does not get it. Oat is able to recover to half guard, but Daisuke immediately switching to side control. Excellent groundwork from both guys, both staying active.
Yeah, and definitely Daisuke is doing a great job of floating on top. As Oath is transitioning from underneath him, he moves ahead and makes sure he's always at least one step ahead. And we see him going for the arm bar, or the arm triangle rather. Sorry, and it's looking dangerous with that stamina differential, Jedi.
Yeah, and he's already locked in one submission now. Thankfully for Oat, with the Oliveira pick, he's going to need more than one despite the stamina difference. But Daisuke is locked in and ready to go for the neck, hopefully looking for either the rear naked choke or possibly even the arm bar. But Oat, very privy to it, not allowing him to go for that choke immediately, gets flattened out. Daisuke's looking to rain down big shots. Big opportunity for Daisuke.
Oath manages to survive there, but you definitely do not want to be flattened out, and you don't want to be stuck in back mount either. where he is with another denial from Daisuke, who has over 2 minutes to work in the second round, and he's definitely
Oh,
controlling this fight with some more big ground and pound shots landed.
yeah, and we can already start to see the stamina difference between these guys. It started off relatively equal, but I believe Oat's stamina is quickly starting to run away. And Dasuki, absolutely a menace on the ground. Both guys doing excellent work denying each other, though, Croton.
Yep, and those denials led to that massive drain of stamina. And so far, big ground and pound, then finish it off with an elbow. This fight could be over soon if he continues this.
Oh my god! And
Wow.
Dasuke has done it with an excellent display of not just groundwork, but ground and pound. Relentless.
Very versatile. Like you said, both the submissions and then the punches to finish it off. Beautiful, powerful ground and pound. Got the TKO in the second round. The first round was closer, but second round he got that submission off that arm triangle, and from then he was total domination by Daisuke, who managed to float on top, establish dominant positions, even flattening out
Ladies and
Oath
gentlemen,
at
the
one
referee
point, and then
Herb
ultimately
Dean has
got
called a
that
stop to this
TKO
contest
victory.
at 3 minutes, 48 seconds of
Absolutely, yeah.
round number
Fantastic
2.
victory
Declaring the winner
for
by
Dasuke.
TKO
Really showed a tremendous amount of improvement in his game. High fight IQ, and took advantage of every situation. And the picks as well, I mean, for a guy who's so dominant on the ground, you can't go wrong with the Islam pick. So congratulations to Dasuke. Moving on to, I believe, 1-1 now? Yeah, that makes it 1-1 for Dasuke. So congratulations to Dasuke. Well done. We will be moving on shortly to the next fight, which will be between Legacy and H the World. Croton, how did you feel about our last fight here?
It was an impressive showing from Daisuke. Is really showing why he has that reputation. And I do want to give respect to Oath Kex for stepping in on short notice against a very tough matchup. So kudos to him for stepping in that virtual octagon. Even though the result didn't go his way, he was able to make a relatively close first round. And looking forward to seeing both of them in the future, Jedi.
Oh yeah, 100%. Listen, I was let's see. Volume of the game stream is a bit louder than you guys. Okay, sorry. Listen. I'm getting word from the back that that the in-game sound was a little loud. That's my apologies. Sometimes these things have to be changed. As we go. But that's why. Total Conflict is the way that it is, because it's a learning experience. Hey, at least you got a card, and at least it starts on time, and at least we're all here and we're all enjoying it. So, for what it's worth, I'm gonna try to keep the in-game volume in mind and try to lower it a little bit. I don't know. See, here's the problem though, Croton, is that everybody's game is sound is set up differently, so you gotta keep changing things.
It definitely can be tricky to manage that, and especially when you run into cases where people don't have the setup, configured properly at all. And you may even hear, Joe Rogan, or rather not Joe Rogan, but Daniel Cormier and the other in-game commentators interfering with ours, which isn't great. But hopefully we'll both be able to speak up and manage that volume so you can hear us better. And interesting matchup we got on our hands here, Jedi.
Absolutely. Legacy coming into this fight. Both of these guys are fighting on the Xbox, but Legacy coming into this fight 0-1 versus H the World, who's making his debut here tonight. Now, in game, it says here that these guys are 1-3, with H the World having the better record. But much like we've seen, whoops, wrong screen. Sorry, much like we've seen before. Um, these in-game records don't always apply, so here we are to see if these guys can make this record just a little bit different. Legacy looking for his first win, and H the World, looking to make his exciting debut here in Total Conflict.
Yep, and it's a cool matchup we got. John Jones versus Ankalaev. We'll have to see. You'd have to imagine that Legacy would want to take this fight to the ground, perhaps, or maybe he's going to be trying to pick him apart from range. I'm not sure if you are able to forecast his approach to this fight, Jedi.
Unfortunately, Croton, like I said, I haven't really ever seen um, H the World, although the name does strike me familiar. But Legacy, I unfortunately don't remember how he fights. But the picks will typically lend themselves to give you an idea of how the fight will play out. But so far, E. Jarek or H the World, however you like to go about his name, is heavy on the leg kicks here tonight, Croton.
Yeah, and we see he's been pressuring so far. I mean, into this fight, big head kick landed right there. While Legacy, for the most part, he's been backing up, but big spinning body kick that got whiffed right there.
Yeah, those spinning body kicks, as long as you step to the correct side, they will whiff just about every time and can typically lead to a vulnerable, power shot, whether it be a hook or uppercut or something big, can usually lead to a big rock.
And that was nice body work right there by H the World. And he does have the boxing advantage in terms of the fighter pick, especially with that punch power. So John Jones is no slouch on the feet. But right now, he's pressuring forward Legacy, even though his health is a bit low, but he does get that spinning body kick to create some distance right there, Jedi.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more teeps. It seems like Legacy wants to keep this fight long and at distance. So I appreciate the spinning back kicks, but he needs to rotate his opponent into those kicks. You can't just fire them off when your opponent's close to you. Even at close range, they can still sidestep them and get out of the way, Croton.
And H the World has been going for that overhand a couple times. He did land it right there, but eats a body kick for his trouble soon after. A knee and a straight exchange right there. And 2 minutes to go, and good body work from both these guys, though. H is mostly doing it with his hands, while Legacy is just peppering that body with all kinds of kicks, Jedi.
Yeah, and here we are with H the World looking for the very first takedown in this fight. A little over a minute 20 on the clock, and H the World has found himself in a huge position, finding himself in mount, Croton. Mount is supposed to be one of the most OP positions, but he loses it immediately, and Legacy finds himself back in the guard and recovered back to standing position.
Yeah, interesting to see H stand up right there after he lost the position. Maybe he was uncomfortable with it. Just establishing the threat of it could be a fight changer. Big uppercut landed right there by Legacy. And the Legacy, for his part, did well to escape from a bottom mount and quickly move the fight into more favorable or neutral ground position. But that was a big rock or not rock, but a bit of a health event right there, Jedi.
Yeah. Both guys. I mean, this is light heavyweight. Both guys have power. Both guys can have dangerous, powerful shots. So, it makes sense as to why, both guys seem like, Legacy seems like he wants to play more of a longer game to keep at distance. H World seems relatively comfortable with that, but he also, wants to look like he wants to try and take advantage of the clinch. He's gone for the takedown, which is good. I think he needs to, invest in that grappling game plan and keep going with that, Croton.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. It helps to keep Legacy guessing, though. I'd also like to see the John Jones pick perhaps initiate some grappling of his own. He's getting the nice knee off right there, and some great leg kicks. Ooh, big flying knee right there by Legacy.
Yeah, the John Jones picks. The John Jones pick is definitely a smart pick if you're gonna be heavy on the knees and elbows, and not even in a spammy or cheesy way, but his clinch knees and elbows are I believe 5-star, and his clinch striking is probably some of the highest in the game. So his clinching can be very favorable if done properly.
You definitely have to use your fighter picks to their strengths, and so far we do see Legacy on the back foot, almost behind the black lines, but getting some nice combos off and countering when he can, though. You have to make sure not to whiff too many of those body kicks, or else he may lose his stamina advantage, as Hack the World landed a few clinch uppercuts right there.
Yeah, that was a nice spinning body kick. Finally landed for Legacy. Legacy takes a huge uppercut, and H the World gets a takedown, but at the price of a lot of stamina.
Yeah, and that could bode badly for him, especially if this fight makes it deep into the third round. Unfortunately, it's not a 5-rounder for him, but it's the big dump takedown right there. And he may have lost the first round with the the uppercut that he kind of ducked into. So you want to make sure that he is able to control the rest of this round. He was able to get a rock of his own so far in the second round, so he's in good position to do so. And this is a very close fight, Jedi.
Yeah, 100%. It's a close fight. Big elbow landed for H the World. H looking to keep it in top position, denies the transition, but not able to move into mount just yet, but building a lot of grapple advantage from a lot of these denials. He moves into postured up position, looking to rain down damage before he gets pulled back down.
And I do like that Hack the World right there. He picked the shots. He didn't go crazy. He did only land the one, but if you go a bit too haywire, trying to get the damage off, you can easily get reversed or flipped. But less than a minute to go in the round, we'll see another oblique kick landed there by Legacy. Both these guys have sparingly attacked one another's lead legs, but the main damage so far in this fight has come from those uppercuts to the head.
Legacy is really still very much interested in landing those. Beautiful flying knee lands for Legacy, landing those spinning back kicks to the body, and it just seems like he has such a difficult time in getting his opponent to move in the right direction to get them land.
Yeah, like you said, he has to try and move H in in the proper direction. You have to set up those shots. You can't just be throwing them out without the prior work. Otherwise, you're going to be whipping it. You're going to be losing your stamina, and you're going to be in bad shape if you're later in the fight. But big flying knee that we landed right there. Perhaps we'll also see the uppercut if the replay continues. But it looks like we're getting another angle on that knee. It's a close round. The replays try and make me think that perhaps the judges actually gave it to Legacy's John Jones, though. I had it scored 1-1 so far into the third. How about you, Jedi?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I would feel best if both guys were 1-1 each, and either could determine the winner in this round, whether it be by finish or by decision, or possibly we could even see a draw. These things don't happen too often, but has been a very common theme. At least once a month, we get a draw in one of our cards. So it could happen here in the very first fight of Total Conflict MMA 3, but 4 minutes on the clock in the third round of this second fight tonight. And here we are, both guys looking to make a statement, and another knee stomp there from Legacy, looking to get his first win in Total Conflict here tonight.
That was a nice uppercut attempt there by Legacy, though. H the World was fortunate to cancel his body shots before he went with an uppercut to the head of his own. Otherwise, that could be a lot more dangerous. And as I was about to say, I would like to see either one of these players try and initiate some more grappling and mix it up. But perhaps they're both trying to get a big KO to really mark a stamp on their performances, Jedi.
Yeah, and so far, he's been doing a good job for his debut. Takes another spinning body kick. Legacy seems to have finally got an understanding of how his opponent is going to be moving here tonight. Looks to get another one. Technically lands it, but not a damaging shot, but gets taken down with a big suplex. And H the World doing an excellent job in keeping this side control.
Yeah, those denials are tricky to get off, but right now he's in top half guard, in good position if he's able to perhaps posture up, get some ground and pound to really cement this round in his favor, though he has to be careful not to lose his position. But as I say that, he voluntarily gives it up, back to his feet with over a minute and a half to go in the third and final round. And
Yeah,
he's pushing Jedi, or he's pushing Legacy back to the fence right there, Jedi.
yeah, and that's big uppercut for H the World, and he's feinting to offer an opportunity to the body. He can't eat his own uppercuts though. Not gonna be safe for H the World after a big rock like that.
Ooh,
A
massive
huge-
spinning head kick right there.
Oh my goodness! And he takes the body kick to drop him.
Beautifully mixing it up there by Legacy, who tried to go for the flying knee. And this fight, as we head into the final moments, is very close. You know, we can even see a knockout, but it's critical in terms of winning a decision as well. Big body kick.
Oh, and all these shots coming from Legacy right now is a big indicator that the last 15 seconds are going to be making the fight go his way.
And that body was very close to being completely cooked right there. Another big body kick. And and he's rocking. And the fight ends, saved by the bell. Though you have to say, that definitely cemented the fight in Legacy's favor.
No, it didn't!
And we got a bit. Wow.
It didn't! It's a robbery! The fight goes to H the World!
Man, I guess they may have. Yeah, I'd like to see I wasn't quick enough to catch the round by round, which one the judges gave to either fighter. But you get out your pitchforks, because I'm sure fans of Legacy, or supporters, at least people who thought he won, may not be too happy with that decision. But it was a very close fight.
All three judges scored this contest 29-28. For the winner by unanimous
I'm completely
decision,
stunned.
Magomed
Wow.
Maybe maybe
Unanimous.
I guess he didn't have one of the rounds won. I mean, the third round he had to have absolutely won, no question.
Right. Yeah, it's possible that H the World did enough to secure the first 2 rounds, but very close, and neither fighter there should hang their heads.
No,
As we see, yep.
Not at all. Both fighters, I feel like, did enough to to make it a good competitive fight. I feel like, man, I guess. See, Croton, this is why I commentate and I don't judge, because of decisions like this. Who would have ever thought or expected for Hack the World to take the wind out of Legacy via all the takedowns and leg kicks, and be able to scrape by and get the win? But so he does in his debut here at Total Conflict MMA 3. Legacy, you put on an excellent fight, and I would love to see, quite frankly, that fight be run back again. But until then, what we have in front of us here now, Croton, is Jody BJJ versus Dizzy, both of which guys are fighting on the PlayStation, both of which guys are 1-1, and these picks are looking yummy.
Yeah, it looks like a fantastic striking match may be on our hands. We got Cody No Love Garbrandt from his iconic UFC 207 performance up against Jose Aldo. Ziggy going with the veteran, one of the arguable top 5 at least greatest of all time fighters. But it'll be interesting to see how this matchup plays out in the game, whether they'll be mixing it up, and if anyone will actually, mix in the grappling, Jedi.
Absolutely. Now, I may have spoke too soon, perhaps. Yes, this is not Dizzy. Forgive me.
Good luck,
this is Ziggy Boy. Oh, we're getting a little commentary from the audience. We gotta quiet that down a little bit. But yeah, forgive me. This is actually Ziggy, not Dizzy. Ziggy is 0-2 currently, so. Yeah, forgive me about that. Jody coming into this fight 1-1, Ziggy 0-2. Ziggy with a Jose Aldo pick, and here we are immediately coming out swinging from both guys in this first round.
Very high pace, and we'll have to see if they make that up. Oh, nice. That was a 4 or 5 punch combination, an extended one there by Jody. He's really applying the pressure. Ziggy did step in as a short notice replacement, but eating lead uppercuts like that, it may not last too long. Oh, insane!
Oh my goodness. And Jody already having tremendous success with the hands, and this fight could potentially only get easier from here with, Prime Cody's perks. It just allows him to do more damage, especially when he has more health. So he's already in the excellent position to keep this going. Ziggy's going to need to do more of that, more leg kicks, more body kicks, and definitely more distance management, Croton.
Yeah, for sure. Ziggy has to try and calm and quiet down the storm that is the Cody Garbrandt in front of him. A lot of early pressure, unfortunately. Okay, we're back to the fight, but Joey doing well, but the head health isn't a lost cause for Ziggy. He's still in this fight. He just has to try to limit the pace, like you said, establish that range and dig to that body that really add up over time, especially with Jose Aldo's 5-star lead body hook Jedi.
Yeah, 100%. Ziggy's still looking to stand his ground.
Big whiff right there. And Jody, for his part, it's not just mindless pressure. He's going in and out, and he's picking his shots, picking when to unleash those massive combos, making sure to incorporate head movement into it. So he's not just a sitting duck and eating counter shots, Jedi.
Yeah, Jody. Jody's name is very deceptive. You expect him to be primarily a ground fighter, but he does have, excuse me, very good striking, and much like you said, he mixes that head movement in with his combos, which makes it even more deadly. Another big shot, and oh my goodness! Immediately, as quickly as it started, it's already over, Croton.
That's all she wrote. Jody from start to finish putting on insane pressure with those hands, ultimately getting the round 1 KO after another big flurry up against the fence. And Ziggy unfortunately fell victim, but what a performance there by Jody.
Yeah, almost absolutely flawless. Could be potentially an early performance of the night prospect, but uh, that's an excellent win for Jody. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see too much of a performance from Ziggy, but much like you said, Ziggy was a short notice replacement. So while we do appreciate Ziggy standing up and raising her hand and getting in there to fight such a competitor, these things happen. So we'll see him back. Better and stronger in the next fight. But for right now, congratulations to Jody, and we will be moving on to our next fight here in just a moment. Hopefully, Croton. Hopefully, we don't have it keep lagging because this is horrible. I don't know why it's lagging like this. But
Yeah, the
anyway,
performance on that stream wasn't great, but yeah, hopefully
yeah,
the next one is better.
I, here's the thing: is that this happens often. It happens sometimes during our what do you call it? Our undisputed fights.
Mm.
And we try really hard to get through it. It's just that I have an old, um, questionable laptop, and it doesn't perform as well as I like. So I do the best that we can. But with that said, as soon as Panju's Twitch stream loads on my 2018 laptop, then I will get it moved on over and we'll get this next fight started. Uh, Panju
Yeah.
and Viper going at it. Panju 0-1, Viper 1-3. Both these guys fighting on the Xbox here tonight. Like I said from the beginning of the event, Croton, a tremendous amount of Xbox uh, signups this week, which we don't typically get. So really looking forward to yet again another Xbox fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see the both divisions consoles being fleshed out, and this could be a great fight. That helps establish that. Perhaps goes down in the history books. I haven't seen Panju fight though. Definitely have heard the S2 Viper name, uh, the name itself, as well as the camp that he belongs to. So it'll be interesting. Featherweight matchup. Panju going with the champion Ilya Topuria, but Viper legacy champion with ponytail Conor McGregor.
And here we go immediately into it. Viper already looking to stand in the middle of the octagon, and oh my goodness!
Ooh.
Sorry, I got distracted by a phone call, and Viper already looking up at the lights immediately in this first round, Croton.
Yeah, that's very impressive there by
Oh!
Panju. But ooh, ducked it, and then Viper returned the favor, got a drop of his own, and we're just only a minute into this bout, which is shaping up to be an absolute barn burner, Jedi.
Yeah, it looks like these guys have somewhere to be, and it's not a Total Conflict MMA 3. These guys are both trading
Ooh.
huge shots and rocks and drops, and at any moment, I imagine someone's going out. If this round gets all the way through, I think it will be probably a mark in the history books to, for something that nobody thought would ever come to resolve.
Yeah, wouldn't expect this to last much longer. And Viper has had success so far with both of his drops coming off of ducks in the middle of combos. A great head movement. We see him attempt the pull right there, but Panju uses his footwork to get out of range. And it looks like he's a bit more cautious, so perhaps it will make it to a round two. But Viper is not letting off of the gas, continuously pressuring forward with just over 2.5 minutes to go as the front kick is blocked there, Jedi.
Yeah, the front kick is blocked, and Panju's face is a bloody mess on that right side. Another big hook lands for Viper, rocking Panju, but Panju's able to recover. 2.5 minutes, just a little under, left on the clock in this first round, and I'm still not convinced it's going to get out of it. Oh, and another big drop.
Ooh. Yeah, Viper is making sure he's trying to secure that performance to the net. And as I say that, Panju lands a massive. Oh my! And Panju steals the fight back. 2 minutes left to go in round one. Massive flying knee. Gets the flash KO with Ilya Topuria. How about that, Jedi? Wow.
Wow. There are people walking by outside my apartment that must be like, this poor guy is dying or something, because that was the craziest one of the I mean, knockout of the night. There's just no question.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought the fight was over in favor of Viper, but unluckily for him, I think maybe have been a flying knee that first dazed him, and then that uppercut absolutely floored him. And
Yes.
and it's crazy to call this a comeback considering how short of a fight it was, but that was a tense back and forth, and ultimately Panju was able to get that flash KO and
Mm.
get the victory for himself.
Man, well, Panju is able to make his first win here at Total Conflict, and while that leads him to 1-1, that unfortunately leaves Viper at 1-4. But with that said, Viper is still a hell of a competitor, and you can't always judge a book by its record. Viper will come back stronger and better in the next one. So congratulations to Panju. Both guys had a very exciting fight. So that was very much a treat. But with that said, we are going to be finishing off our prelims here with one last PlayStation fight between Muay Thai Jesus and Strictly Business. How this fight was made to be on the prelims, Croton, is a tremendous strike of disrespect, and quite frankly, we should have absolutely no right even streaming having these guys on the prelims. But here we are, between Strictly Business and Muay Thai Jesus. Both these guys are already lobbied up. We're gonna go ahead and move it on over to them. Cronin, give me your thoughts on this fight.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Both these guys from somewhat newer camps in terms of K1 and what remains, but especially by this point in the game's life cycle, they've definitely established themselves, both well-known names. And it's a welterweight matchup with Shavkat versus Joaquin Buckley. So expect some striking affair, though. Be interesting to see if K1 White Thai Jesus goes against his name and his camp, and perhaps mixes in the grappling, which would be intelligent to do, especially with that fighter pick Jedi.
Yeah, it seems like like during the beginning couple months, or even hell, I mean, the UFC 5 has been out for a year now, so I would even argue that for the first year, Shavkat was kind of a slept-on pick. You see people, pick him every now and then, but he wasn't, I felt like he was kind of slept on, and now it seems like everybody has kind of found some kind of secret Shavkat sauce that they just, everybody loves to pick Shavkat now. But I'm a huge fan of the Buckley pick. I say it all the time, Croton. I don't really watch real MMA or boxing anymore, so it's hard for me to keep up with a lot of these newer guys. But in terms of in-game, I'm a huge fan of Buckley. He's powerful, he's fast, he's elusive, good footwork, and overall just like a really strong pick in terms of striking.
Yeah, and that matches up with some of his real life performances. Like you said, very powerful, as you can see by the build. A lot of muscle on him, which translates to massive KO power. But Shavkat, for his part, with K1 Muay Thai Jesus pick, very well rounded. He has the height, he has the range. He can knock you out on the feet. He can also choke you out on the ground or even in the clinch, as he's demonstrated. But we see a clinch initiated, massive knees landed right there with over 2.5 minutes to go. And so far, somewhat cagey fight. With big shots landed right there by Joaquin Buckley right there, but not too much in terms of massive damage that no one can recover from. But as I say that, Muay Thai lands a massive flying knee right there, Jedi.
Oh my goodness, yes, he most certainly does, and he is really laying home with the combos, just completely obliterating Strictly's block and trying to get another knockdown, and so he does with a big
Ooh,
uppercut. A huge opportunity, the crowd in the way, and this is it.
wow, it was interesting. We got the crowd view, and the crowd going crazy after a massive, shift in momentum right there from a relatively neutral position. But then Muay Thai Jesus just started piling it on, got the rock, he got the knockdown, and ultimately he finished it with some massive ground and pound from top mount position against the Strictly Business, and a big victory right there between two big names, like you said, Jedi.
Yeah, two tremendous names in both Strictly and Muay Thai Jesus. A big win for Muay Thai Jesus. Very quick with the closer after the win. But congratulations to Muay Thai Jesus finishing off our prelims. That was a an excellent performance from him. But quite frankly, nothing less of expectation, quite honestly. But with that said, we're going to be taking a very short, perhaps less than 5 minute break. I'm going to allow you guys to get your drinks and your snacks and your little pee breaks. Fighters who are currently lobbied, take a moment, crack your knuckles. We will be back here in just a moment. everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. And let's go ahead and move on to the rest of our card. Let's see, we've already got the next fight ready to go. Let's see. I believe this is going to be Diddy versus Saucy, both of which guys are making their Xbox debut here in Total Conflict. They would, if it wasn't for my computer taking a shit right now. So hang tight. Just the moment that I start to bring it back, everything starts to crash and fail, and there's not much I can do about it. I can just hope and pray.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we'll have to see if they end up picking these fighters. But it looks like they're hovering over Rafael Fiziev and Jalen Turner in the lightweight division. It'll be interesting striking matchup, especially seeing how Fiziev can contend against Turner's reach. I don't believe they fought in real life. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they haven't, but uh, perhaps we'll be able to see how they play in the UFC 5 game, as I've said a few times tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and quickly refresh the page. Hopefully, get a little bit of more reliable load time. Here we go. Looks like things have loaded, and excellent. They still have in-game music on, so we'll keep that. Excuse me, at a minimum. Let's go ahead. Oh, you know what? Hold on one second.
Yep, and I checked in the background, and they have not fought in real life, and it does look like they are going to be going with these picks. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and in terms of who picked who. Like, so just give me a second, as they do have different gamer tags than their Discord names. But we have Saucy going as Jalen Turner in the blue corner, while B Sellers is Rafael Fiziev.
Yeah, it possibly, if for whatever reason my computer has stopped being interested in doing this. Hold on one second.
But in the meantime, we do have some other great fights upcoming through the rest of the card as well. Just taking a look at some of the names. We also have Up to Back up against AKA MG, Spooky versus Benjami, at the top of the main card before the co-main of What Remains of Khalil against Smokey. Double, What Remains matchup intra camp bout right there, and then the main event. If we get to that, is JUFC versus Breezy Tricks.
Yes, it most certainly is, Croton. Well, I believe all issues may have been resolved, and here we are, finally moved on over to the fighters' lobby, where both these guys can indeed finally make their picks and get the fight going. Uh, all, all apologies. That is my bad. I don't know what's happening, but hopefully that is not going to become a common theme here tonight. But with that said, it does look like these guys could be making these picks on screen who they're going to be using here tonight. So Rafael Fiziev versus Jalen Turner, Saucy using Turner, gonna be definitely an exciting stand-up fight between these guys. So looks like the picks have been made. Everything is locked in. Bruce Buffer is ready. The audience is ready. I'm ready. Croton's ready. And here we are, the very first round of this competition. And both guys are coming out very patiently.
Yeah, but immediately, just one calf kick landed there by B Sellers, the game name of Blake as Fiziev. Saucy, he does have the height and range as Jalen Turner, so we'll have to see if he tries to play more on the back foot, mixes in those teeps, and Tries to create a distance, but he lands a nice front kick right there. Big body kick into a straight combination extended. That was a 4-strike combo, and it looked like about a 75% land rate. So far, so good for Saucy. It lands another straight to B Seller's face right there as Fiziev eats 2 hooks. And an interesting approach there, staying in the pocket like that, Jedi.
Yeah, not necessarily what I would recommend. Nice head kick lands for Saucy, but being the taller fighter, yeah, I would not think that that would be the smart move to press forward like that. When you have such a reach advantage, you want to use that to your advantage. But huge head kick is missed and then countered by Saucy. Saucy doing an excellent job in his performance here tonight so far, Croton.
Yeah, very nice showcase of Jalen Turner. Ooh, nice knee lands up the middle though. Kind of a glancing blow that mostly seemed to hit the chest, judging by the health bars. 2.5 minutes ago, but B Sellers, the physio pick, he's still in it. Lands a nice head kick. 2.5 minutes ago, eats another body kick. He has to be careful. We see him changing up his approach. Massive uppercut gets the rock, and he's putting forward the pressure, but Saucy's able to back out and recover right there, Jedi.
Yes, he is. Back up against the cage and eats a big head kick and a flying knee that just narrowly misses him, Cronin, but able to stay alive is Saucy, but both guys are going to need to be wary because it's only going to get more dangerous from here.
And he tries to go for that pull counter. This could be deadly. Another uppercut right there off of the body shot. Didn't get the full damage off, but nice reversal of the tides right here. We see the pressure with the Saucy's Jalen Turner stuck with his back against the fence, but he's still dangerous when cornered. See fire off a couple punches that do land past Fiziev's guard.
Oh! Ooh! A tremendous head kick is ducked and countered from Diddy and jumps into the guard. Does he? Able to get a couple shots off before posturing back up. Now, Croton, I think Diddy's, best strategy here is to, do what he's doing when it comes to finding the most damage, which is quite honestly staying in the pocket, putting the pressure on Saucy, backing him up against the cage. But this right here is not ideal.
Yeah, definitely agreed right there. And B Diddy, like you said, he had the success in that pocket. Massive rear hook that drops Saucy to end out the round. Absolutely cements it. Perhaps even a 10-8 in his favor. I don't have this punch stats to look at, but a very massive ending to that round, especially that second half, which is all for B Diddy's favor. But look, as we see, multiple ducked head kicks, massive counters landed off of that. Like you said, staying in the pocket is excellent because with those long-range weapons of Jalen Turner, especially those kicks, they take a lot more time to retract than, say, a regular punch. So that allows B Diddy's Fiziev to go counter, land massive damage, as he has done so far, Jedi.
Yeah, 100%. He has, been doing very well at using his pick to the best of his advantage. He's done very well at pull and ducking counters and sidestepping out of the way of a lot of shots. Almost eats a huge counter of his own after getting his own head kick ducked, but not able to generate enough power from the discrepancy in stamina does Saucy.
Yeah, that could have been bad, but like you said, he was a bit low in his own stamina. But a big right rear hook landed there, and Fiziev is pressuring forward. Can B Diddy close this out? Big blinking block health and head health, but he's taking his time, being patient, and that's what you like to see, Jedi.
Oh my goodness, the body shots land and drop Saucy. Saucy's in a huge world of pain, and this could be it, and it's over!
Herb Dean steps in, round 2 TKO for B Diddy. Ever since that second half of the first round, he's been having success with those counters, the rear hooks, rear uppercuts. A lot of these punches led to those massive counters. Even though Fiziev is known for his kicks, it was ultimately the punches that sealed the deal for B Diddy right there with a massive round 2 TKO, Jedi.
Yeah, 100%. That was a tremendous performance and debut for Diddy. Both of which guys we are looking forward to seeing again in the future. But listen, I'm gonna go ahead and say something kind of out of pocket and kind of wild. At first, I thought we were witnessing a little bit of a like lower tier like a form of competition between
Mm.
those two guys. It kind of started off very basic, it seemed, and then all of a sudden you started to see Diddy, sidestep and backstep and do all these dips and all these counters, and it seemed like okay, he just needed a moment to kind of get into his groove. But congratulations to Diddy. A huge dominant win in his debut, and it looks like we'll be moving on to our next fight if I can figure out where to go. Okay, it looks like up to back versus AKA MG. Hold on, I'm getting word from the back. Okay, it looks like it will not be MG's fight up next. Hang tight. It looks like word from the back says that we are going to be moving around the card a little bit. Let's see. Striking versus BK Wolfie. So it is Xbox fights back to back here on Total Conflict MMA 3. Striking, another name within the community who has been doing very well for himself. Someone who I have had a lot of criticism against due to his lack of ground game, for
Mm.
lack of better words. But he has taken the criticism in stride, and is something that he is not only aware of, but doing his best to fix. I'm always looking forward to seeing him compete BK Wolfie in it to fight. To fight Striking. Now I think this is a completely different fight. Hold on, hang tight. What is happening here? What is happening? Okay, it
Yeah,
looks okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Croton.
I was gonna say, like you said, that with striking's a grappling game being an area for improvement, to say the least, in the past, like you mentioned. This will be a great test for him, judging just by the online persona of BK Wolfie. With the Hamzat Chimaev Boar's Twitch link, as well, profile picture on Discord and more. So just judging based on that, you can expect, or at least I'd expect that BK Wolfie is a bit of a wrestling-based fighter who's not afraid to take it to the ground if he's anything like the fighter that he's kind of his alter ego in a way. So definitely a possible mixed martial art matchup, not just striking. So striking may have B3 striking to clarify right there. We'll maybe have to show whether he's improved his game or not, Jedi.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Okay, so it looks like I've got myself a link. It seems as if, unfortunately, Spooky versus Ben Jammy does not seem like it's going to be happening. It seems like Striking versus BK Wolfie is what is replacing Spooky versus Benjami. Uh, if I can get word from the back if that's confirmed or not, but that is what it looks like here to me. But with that said, Striking versus BK Wolfie is up, live, and ready to go. We are going to move on over to the fighters lobby where Striking is ready to make his Max Holloway pick and Wolfie with his Ilya Taporia pick.
Yeah, we did see this fight play out in real life recently. To the heartbreak of Max Holloway appreciators everywhere. We have to see how it goes. But as I was saying, with the ability or the opportunity for Striking to show off his possibly improved ground game, we may see that at play with Wolfie's Ilya Topuria pick, who is real recently well known for that knockout power and his great boxing, but he is a Greco-Roman wrestler as a base, and he has great submissions as well. So it'll be interesting to see if Wolfie mixes it up, and you'd think he'd be well advised to do that, Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the smart excuse me, hold on, let me try and just adjust this volume a little bit. The video is gonna lag for half a second. Hang tight. I love you all. All right, sorry. Um, eh, I I feel like everyone is well aware of Ilya Taporia's ground game, and a lot of people sleep on Max Holloway's. And I think for a guy like Striking, obviously stand up and striking is the goal. But Ilya is obviously more than capable of doing both. But I think people just sleep on the fact that so can Max.
Yeah, that's a great point. He has some nice submissions to his name. I think I'm not sure what his rating is in this particular game, but UFC 4 he had over 90 submissions, so
Mm.
definitely has the opportunity to get a finish of his own on the ground, as well as just being able to keep it on the feet with his great takedown defense. But so far, we see striking being pushed up behind the black lines in the map. BK Wolfie pressuring forward, trying to keep this fight in boxing range as he lands a big head kick right there, Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It kind of landed more on striking shoulders, so I don't think that that it did too much damage. But here we are still with half of the first round through, and the very first counter I think is achieved by striking. Striking, like you mentioned, has been kind of on the back pedal throughout this first round, but I don't think that that's typically been a problem. But he gets rocked and defends the takedown very well. Back to their feet are they, and to the center of the octagon, Croton.
Yeah, sprawls are pretty uncommon in these games, so maybe that speaks to Striken's approach to this fight. Keeping in mind that Wolfie may want to go to the ground, as we see a few what looks like takedown feints
Yes.
so far. But a minute and a half to go. Striken will want to get that knockdown or that stun rather back in his favor to take this round. But you want to be careful, not be too aggressive, and possibly end up losing the fight when all you wanted was just to take the point back.
Sure. Yeah, but I think BK Wolfie has been doing an excellent job at riding the wave of momentum that he's gained from that rock, and while he wasn't able to get the first or this last takedown attempt here, I believe that either way the fight is most likely still in his favor.
Yeah, and with those failed attempts, they still put the almost fear, but at least the thought of the takedown that this may end up being a grappling match in striking his head. We did see him defend it very well so far with the sprawl and then denial of that ankle pick, but actually going for those takedowns, as Wolfie has been doing, is going to make those takedown feints all the more effective as he eats a bit of a punch there as he goes for the kick. But end of round one, I'd say 10-9 Wolfie favor with that stun.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely have to agree with you. You know, Wolfie is doing an excellent job at not only creating damage, but he's also creating possible scenarios in Striken's head that aren't even there. Like you mentioned, the takedown fakes, mixed in with genuine takedown attempts. These are only just going to open up his opponent for things that may or may not exist.
Yep, and those mind games you're going to be playing because not all about reactions. Sometimes you got to anticipate moves, and Wolfie's doing his best to try and make Striking a bit overloaded mentally with all the things he's throwing at him. But a different approach to begin round two, perhaps wise there by Striking, less off the back foot, and now he's pressuring forwards though. Early in the, or not early, but rather in the first round, it is when he began pressuring that he was rocked by an uppercut Jedi.
Mm. Well, it's a good observation. That's something that I had realized. But into the clinch, does Wolfie escape with not too much damage, but striking, landing some major shots there, able to finally get the man back with his own rock, but needs to be careful. He could be countered at any moment here.
Ooh, double pull right there and lands a massive body uppercut. And striking, getting a few stuns of his own, it's really going to make Wolfie respect the punches coming back his way. And so far, this
Oh!
has been boxing affair. Big rock and that cardio of Max Holloway gets him the drop.
And Striken doing a good job at not only landing his counters, but staying safe and staying patient. Big body shot lands with the spinning body kick, and then one on the outside during the retreat there, Croton.
Yeah, I was just saying how this is mostly boxing. Massive uppercut landed right there by Wolfie, but Striken's doing well to mix in the body kicks, which can create a bigger stamina gap between the two fighters. But things have calmed down temporarily, but they can definitely heat back up with both these guys having hurt one another. They've tasted blood, and they're going forward. Neither one seems to want to step behind those black lines. They're in each other's faces, Jedi.
Yeah, yeah, you see it so often, Crotum, but you know this community has a huge problem with the ego playing. You know, every time I get hit or I get rocked, I gotta have to do it. You know, back to you. And Striken is able to stand on business and knock his opponent down once again. What is Taporia gonna be able to do to get it back here, Croton?
It seems like Wolfie has gone away from the takedowns so far in the second round. It may not be enough to shift the round back in his favor, but it can definitely shift the flow of things. As I say that, he did go for a clinch, reverse his position against the cage, but he has to be careful not to eat too many shots. His head health is low, and Striking is picking his shots, spacing out his combos right there, Jedi, and he may be
Yes.
close to getting another drop.
Yeah, he's doing a good job at keeping Wolfie guessing, and he's able to land a huge elbow that drops his opponent. We're not going to get the view from the crowd, but we might get a finish.
Wow, and Striken gets the job done. Round 2 TKO. Overcame some adversity in that fight, but ultimately, kept his foot on the gas, used that stamina advantage, picked his shots very nicely whenever he had Wolfie hurt, and ultimately, that big elbow counter started the beginning of the end, and he got that finish, Jedi.
Yeah. Striken had an excellent performance here tonight. Didn't start it off too well, but changed things up in the second round and was able to take it back and eventually get the W. So congratulations to Striken on making another win and making his mark here at Total Conflict MMA. We're going to go ahead and just skip on past what do you call it, Bruce Buffer, because that man is basically coming out on marionette strings. And let's see, let's go on and move on over to our next fight, I believe, of which should be a fight that, quite frankly, I have been looking forward to. I'm not seeing any word from the back saying that it's not something we. Oh, hold on, wait, hold on. Maybe this is. Maybe I might be jumping a little ahead of myself. I believe we might be going back in time now to MG's fight. Is that? Am I? I just need to hear word from the back if that's correct or not. Let me see. Let me just go ahead and go to MG's to someone's stream. Let's see. This is not open yet. Okay, so I believe that this probably might not even happen. I'm getting word from the back. What do we okay. All right. So let's this is what we're doing. So we're going to move on over to the co-main event, a fight that I personally have been looking forward to, but I'm always looking forward to watching WR of Khalil fight. I'm a big fan of his. Croton, have you ever seen him compete before?
I haven't had the pleasure, but I am looking forward to it, based on your praise.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
just with the, yeah, so if you could please let me know a bit about him, what makes him so, such a fan favorite?
I don't think he's a fan favorite yet. I think people are sleeping on him, and I'll tell you why. Because first of all, both guys are coming from the WR camp. That camp is albeit new, but championship quality competitors within that camp. Khalil made a name for himself, and I don't know for certain if it's for the first time within his career in the competitive scene, but definitely made a name for himself within the Supremacy FC, a competition promotion that he fought in prior to Total Conflict, before Total Conflict was created. But Khalil is very good at being deceptive. He's very good at letting you think that you're winning and that it's a comfortable fight for you, whether it be on the feet or on the ground. But here's the problem, Croton, is that as soon as it goes to the ground, you think you're in a really good position, and next thing you know, he's already sunk in a submission, and he just needs one more. He is very, very crafty at slapping in and sneaking in submissions that you just would not expect for him to do. So he's very creative with his ground game. I always look forward to commentating and watching his fights. And with that said, we're gonna move on over to the fighter lobby because these guys are ready. Both of which, like I said, come from the What Remains of camp, so this should be a good competitive fight, seeing as these guys are teammates.
Yeah, an interesting pick there on, I think, Khalil's part there. What remains of Khalil? Going with Renato Moicano. Definitely not a top tier pick in the lightweight division, but based on how you described him, being very crafty, that suits Moicano kind of in real life, but especially seemingly in game as well with those various submissions that he can pull off. Though, just in terms of the picks, just on the face of it, you have to say that it looks like Islam Makhachev has the advantage. Wouldn't you say that, Jedi?
The picks on paper, yes, but after now that I'm done glazing up Khalil, I'll have to do the same for Smokey. Smokey is a extremely talented competitor, both in terms of getting the fight to the ground, whichever way he absolutely needs to, because the man is capable of taking. He has all the controls of all the takedowns and all the counters. Everything is muscle memory for that guy. But not only is he able to take the fight down in any way, shape, or form, but he is an absolute just villain on the ground. The man, I mean, if you get taken down by Smokey, you're not getting up, unfortunately.
Oh, and Khalil's doing a good job of trying to avoid that face so far.
Oh,
Though Smokey has been mixing it up very nicely, lands a big front kick right there. But immediately we've seen front kicks or rather clinch attempts, fake takedowns, and that low ankle pick gets the job done. And now we have Smokey on top with most of the first round left to go. Jedi.
yeah, yeah. Now this is Khalil who's on top, who is the Islam pick. But back to their feet, they are both of which guys coming into this fight with 2 wins on the record. Smokey, the only one with a loss on his record, so 2-1 for Smokey, 2-0 for Khalil. So this is what I mean is that people I think sleep on Khalil. People don't realize how good Khalil is. But the man is currently 2-0, looking to make it 3-0 as he finds himself on top here once again.
Yeah, and the side control is a dangerous position, getting a few elbows off, but Moicano is a crafty player off of his back. Round one, or sorry, 2 minutes left to go in round one. Um, Still not too much in terms of unsurmountable offense mounted by either player here, so the round is still in the balance, and we'll have to see who can establish it and take this round in their own hands, Jedi.
Yeah, 100%. Nice little body kick there. Landed from Khalil. A minute 30 on the clock. And a shout out to the GFC for a party raid. We do appreciate you guys. We hope you guys had a good stream for what it's worth. And hope you enjoy the rest of Total Conflict MMA 3 with just a little under a minute left on the clock in our co-main event between WR of Khalil and WR of Smokey. WR of Smokey finding himself on top, not necessarily moving to mount because he's reversed and flipped, finding Khalil in a top position.
Yeah, and there's been a back and forth grappling towards the end of this first round, but we did see some nice striking exchanges at the beginning of this fight, and looks like he's trying to ride out the rest of it in sprawl, but gets kind of reversed there into half guard. So a bit of not survival mode, but a bit of cautious play. You don't want to be taking up too much damage. You're content with the round not going your way, but you live to fight another day, Jedi.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, this is a 5-round fight, so they have more than enough time to work and even call around a round if you lose it and say that you'll come back better in the next. Still 4 rounds left on the clock, and I can imagine that it's most likely going to go all the way. These guys have been staying very patient. Nice body kicks there from Khalil, one returned there from Smokey. But, like we've mentioned before, Croton, both guys are heavy ground grapplers, so it's only a moment before a takedown is attempted, and it's completed the moment I mention it.
Yeah, immediately establishing that favorable position, but we see that rubber guard temporarily in play, but quickly escapes it, and we have the Makhachev pick on top. Small ground and pound, 4 minutes to work. You don't want to rush things and lose the position, because this could be quite a favorable place to be. You're able to ride out the rest of this round and just kind of demoralize the opposing player here by taking away any of their offensive options. But submissions are still in play, Jedi.
Oh yeah, yeah. Submissions are 100% in play, and it's it's only a matter of time before Khalil decides to slap one on. Not able to get a lot of damage off from the ground and pound is Khalil, but able to keep himself from getting flipped and postures back up, looking to land damage once again.
Yeah, the massive elbow avoided right there. That could have spelled some a big danger. So far, neither of these guys have really bled on the octagon. Just 2 rounds of looks like maybe 5 over there. I'm not sure if that's correct there, but pitter patter on both sides, trying to establish ground and pound. You can't be too aggressive, or you're going to be losing your position, and that's not what you want to do. And that's what we see right now as Moicano takes the back. We'll see if there's able to reverse it, but I believe there. Sorry, we got an armbar attempt there by Khalil as Moicano, but denial got off there. Stamina looking in decent shape. Couple fakes and escapes, but we'll have to see if he's able to get it off. 2 minutes to work. Oh, and it's looking dangerous right now, and he does get the submission off, but
Oh.
the Khalil's, or rather Smokey's Islam Makhachev pick does have enough stamina as well as submission rating to survive, but one big submission successfully completed there, Jedi.
Yeah, and forgive me, you guys were all right. I was the one who was calling this incorrectly. As Khalil is Moicano and Islam is Smokey, so I had them backwards. So my bad. Sorry to confuse. Smokey finding himself in a big position, regaining mount and looking to drop bombs, but Khalil doing an excellent job at avoiding any massive damage.
Yeah, and that's what he'll want to do to secure this round because he did get that armbar off earlier, so definitely in his favor. Make sure he doesn't eat too much punches to the head, and perhaps equal. Well, it's a close first round. I'm not sure how to score that, but he's eating some big shots right now. It's dangerous, but gonna make it to the bell and heading into round 3, Jedi.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to more of this fight. I can hear some of the crowd and some of the audience not be too thrilled about some of the head movement that's happening on the ground. We will have to go back and rewatch the fight at a later time. Not really worth stopping the action now as we get into the third round here, Croton.
Yeah, immediately clinch attempt to the trip, and we're gonna have to see Smokey try and establish top control. Though he has to be cautious. We did see him get submitted off of the back-sitting armbar last round, and as I say that, we have Khalil on top, half guard with Renato Moicano. Definitely a big jiu-jitsu battle going on between these two competitors.
Definitely, and Khalil having already cemented in one submission in this 5 round fight, with one more that could mean the result of another win for Khalil, having make him 3-0. But we are still in the process of deciding who is going to come out as a winner, as Smokey flips and finds himself in the top half guard position. Croton.
And he has some good time to work. 3.5 minutes left. I'd like to see either of these fighters try and posture up, and I say that he does in top mount, hopefully able to get off some ground and pound for his favor, but mostly blocked. Perhaps I think that may have been all blocked by Khalil, who wisely escapes from a bottom mount and establishes full guard Jedi.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, a lot of groundwork from both guys. Now, there's probably some people in the audience that are not a huge fan of this, just because there's not, there's no blood, there's no real craziness happening. But Smokey able to get himself crucifixed for just a moment, but not able to really hold it. There's not a whole lot of damage going on here, Croton. So for the untrained and uneducated eye, it might not seem like that very of an exciting fight, but these guys are absolutely relentless with their work. Look at this.
Yes, a lot of focus and determination on both sides, making sure they don't slip up. Because as we saw, that one mistake can be monumental, leading to that submission bar getting depleted, or a stun on the ground via the ground and pound. Though, like you said, not too much in terms of damage, so it leaves the door open case either player is able to perhaps get back to their feet, get a combo going, and steal the round back in their favor despite all the control we've seen so far. And we have a big denial there as Smokey pulls Khalil's Moicano off of the fence. A minute left to go, round 3.
Yeah, Smokey finding himself in top position once again. A little over 50 seconds on the clock in this third round, and still doing a little minor damage here and there before moving into mount. Maintaining and holding it. Is he going to be able to do successful damage? Yes, he does. Switches up his hooks into straight shots, and big shots does he land on Khalil. Khalil in a huge position to lose it all. 20 seconds left on the clock, and Smokey's going for a huge submission armbar here.
And he's draining, he's racing for the end, and he does get the submission off, but surprisingly only about a third of the submission bar depleted there for Khalil, who survives the end of round 3. But that was a big ending. You know, that ground and pound from full mount, landed 2 or 3 punches, got a massive elbow off, and wisely went for the submission after that. When you know, if he hadn't done that, he may have just had less effective results, Jedi.
Yeah, not quite as much off the submission bar as he would have liked. But I imagine that he was well aware of that with the picks in mind. So, but still a huge moment there for Smokey. Most likely, most definitely winning that third round. So here we are in the fourth. Very quickly getting back into it. Smokey looking for the takedown, unable to get it with the defense from Khalil. But both guys trading shots back and forth. Nice counter shot there with the teep from Khalil.
Yeah, and it's a close bout. You know, round 1, bit of a coin flip from my memory. But as I say, that massive hook rock there, and then we have Smokey pressing forward, trying to capitalize. But great head movement there by Khalil, who is still pressing forward despite that health event, as his head health looks recovered. But he is taken down right there, Jedi.
Yeah, he's taken down, but with the Moicano pick, you can still be very confident being on the bottom, but Smokey's able to move into half guard and not able to maintain the position. Moicano able to return back to full guard and keep full guard, but boy, these guys are really back and forth with transitions, fakes, denials, and everything else in between, Croton.
Yeah, it's a bit of a blender on the ground. You have to be careful you don't stick any of your limbs in the wrong place, or else they maybe get broken off. But back to the feet and double pull. Massive elbow right there by Smokey.
Yeah, nice counter shot there landed from Smokey. Smokey still playing the back game with his feet behind the black line. Not the best position to be as a wrestler, but you know, he is, if there's anyone, it's going to be him who's going to be able to make it work. Huge counter shot lands for Smokey, looking to drop his man, but Moicano is very good at recovering. Hurt again, is he? Is he going to be able to keep recovered, though, Croton?
Yeah, has shown great head movement while rocked, but Khalil has to watch out, make sure he doesn't sway into any of more of those hooks. But he does get the takedown, which is a smart decision, you know, to stop the onslaught coming his way, perhaps to ride out the rest of round 4. Though still a minute and a half is plenty of time to work. And as I was saying before, the action started picking up. You know, round 1 was a bit of a coin flip. Round 2 had to go to Khalil with that back-sitting armbar. Round 3, Smokey got a submission of his own off. So really, it's could be either fighter in the lead. You know, it's tough to say, Jedi.
It is tough to say. That is what I do appreciate about boxing and them having so many more rounds and the ability to see judges' scorecards kind of in between. In between parts of the fight, you know, you can kind of get an idea of where you might stand. But here we see Islam on top, Smokey trying to land damage, but he's quickly reversed with almost no stamina left to his name, but goes for the Kimura and reversed back to standing position.
Yeah, that was a massive escape right there. As you said, his stamina was absolutely cooked, but he escapes and he makes it out of that round. And it was a great round with a numerous amount of rocks on a Smokey side. And you have to say, you know, especially round 3 and round 4, possibly round 1 as well, in Smokey's favor as we head into the 5th and final round of this co-main event on Total Conflict MMA 3.
Let me tell you something, guys. I know. I mean, Jay's opinion about this fight is really neither here nor there. But everybody else is. There's a lot of other people that are having a hard time watching this fight. I understand. I would say I'll take responsibility for this because I think I mentioned this fight to Verse, and I was like, oh, I want to see these two grapplers go at it because I think it'd be really exciting. And to me personally, it has because both guys have been very active on the ground. And this has been a back and forth fight. It just hasn't been a back and forth stand up fight. So sorry that you guys are unhappy. I'm happy, and that's all that really matters to me.
Yeah, and we did have some nice action on the feet as well with Smokey. In the middle of the third round, or rather the fourth round. Sorry, getting uh, some punches and combos working in his favor, but distracted away by the submission attempt. But Khalil
Oh,
managed to escape. Big arm bar, big arm triangle attempt. Sorry, right there.
yeah, that's an arm triangle attempt and a successful attempt after Smokey went for the half guard transition and got reversed into that arm triangle. It has left nothing but a sliver of submission bar left for Smokey. Literally, I think all Khalil would have to do is just think of another submission, and Smokey will be ready to tap.
Yeah, he's in very rough shape with the submission bar as well as the stamina on both sides, but Smokey is in good position, managed to get the flip into top mount. If he lands some big punches, this could really shift the course of the fight, but he has to be careful as well on himself, on his own end, to not expend too much of his stamina. But posturing up again, and I thought he was about to stand up for a moment, but no, he moves into top mount, takes that free transition Jedi, and he may land some big shots here.
Oh my goodness, and Smokey's trying to find the finish. A nice couple straight shots are leading into a tremendous amount of damage for Smokey, but able to recover does Khalil for just a moment before Smokey gets back up and tries to land more damage.
Yeah, massive ground and pound has been really working for almost the first time in this fight. Big shots, and now he's inside saddle. A minute and a half to go. It's still possible that he finds the finish, but if nothing else, he definitely established this round. Oh, actually, no, there was that giant submission attempt on Khalil's part that I can't forget about, Jedi.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And Smokey's definitely trying to look for a submission or a transition of his own. Gets back to mount, but not able to hold on to it. Both guys still doing a lot of work and still trying. Well, although despite the stamina loss, both guys are at quite the stamina disadvantage with a little over 40 seconds on the clock of this very last round.
Yeah, both these guys staying active, trying to wrest control of the fight from one another. Only 30 seconds left to go, and Smokey postures up, gets back to his feet. Maybe we'll see a Max Holloway moment where he points to the ground, but eats a
Oof.
massive hook and uppercut. He has to be careful here, Jedi.
Yeah, swinging wildly like that can get a
Ooh,
little too crazy. Smokey's dropped at the very last couple seconds and able to recover, and we move on to the judges' scorecards and decision to see who comes out as the winner in this fight. I, quite frankly, have no idea. I would say it's probably going to be Khalil, most likely. I don't know, Croton.
yeah, it's tough to say. Round one and round five, I really have trouble scoring myself. I wouldn't be surprised to see either player's hand raised, but back and forth and action really picked up. Could have perhaps seen Smokey be a bit more cautious, but who knows whether it was the crowd or his own desire to chase the finish affecting it. And it looks like he does come away with the victory.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, it was close. I'm like, round one possibly his. Round five, I'd say he has to lose that as we see the scorecard right here. Rounds one, three, and four. So it was that round one coin flip round that
Mm.
did go to Smokey's favor, or at least a coin flip in my memory. But back and forth, things heated up in the latter half of this fight, but ultimately, Smokey managed to end the fight, or end the overall fight as he started it, getting the victory.
Yes, he most certainly did. Well, congratulations to Smokey. Some might even argue that that is Total Conflict's second robbery this evening. But, oh, excuse me, with that said, and with that fight in the books, Smokey moves on to 3-1. Khalil at 2-1 now, and we are finally going to move on to our main event. If it has been confirmed that JayUFC is able to get his hands on some Game Pass so that he's able to compete because I remember shortly before this card started, that was quickly becoming an issue, as it's been an issue for all week. So the man had all week to have this resolved, and was hey, look at that, he was able to. So congratulations, already a tremendous win for JayUFC, able to get a couple shekels together and convince somebody to give him some Xbox Game Pass details. And here we are. Let's go ahead and move on over to our main event. Your Xbox champion JayUFC with the Jack Della Maddalena fighting against Breezy with the Leon Edwards. Quite possibly, most likely, the Leon Edwards pick. So if these guys are ready, we are ready. Moved on over to the lobby is what we have done, and we are just ready for these guys to make their picks.
Yeah, it looks like we're hovering over, JDM versus Leon Edwards. Seems on paper like this will be a striking kickboxing affair, though, with the Leon Edwards pick of Breezy, can definitely mix in some grappling, have some success, especially as JDM isn't the most well-rounded competitor, but JayUFC, player controlling the fighter matters a lot, and he is quite well-rounded Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, it could be possible that I may have skipped a fight. But sorry, it happens. We could listen for whoever's fighting MG. Sorry. Um, JayUFC usually ends his fights pretty quickly, so you won't be waiting for too much longer. And much like an old, probably before you were born, UFC card will go through the main event, and then, much like a prelim that never even made it onto the pay-per-view card, will go ahead and show your fight. So hang tight. This fight will be over here shortly. JayUFC and Breezy coming out it very quickly with the hands.
Yeah, and I think Bellator still has those post limbs or post liminaries as they're called, whatever. But as you say, massive combos there by UFCJ. Ooh, big uppercut, gets the knockdown against Breezy, and he's still pressing forward with those big boxing combos, big rear hook Jedi.
Yeah, Jay's very good with the hands. He's excellent. He's one of these types of guys who's also very good at mixing in his head movement in between combos. So he understands the idea of taking your head off the center line to avoid damage. So excellent at landing damage and keeping himself protected at the same time. Another
Ooh.
huge counter uppercut lands for Jay. Does not choose to follow Breezy to the ground. Breezy gonna have to start finding something different to get some success, but that does not look like it's in the cards for Breezy tonight here, Crodon.
Yeah, just snowballing advantage of Jay here. Big countering Breezy's attempted counters, and even early on he mixed the big. Ooh, and that's all she wrote with a
Oh
massive
my
rear elbow.
God.
Wow. UFC or JayUFC rather, apologize for that, but he gets the massive KO victory over Breezy in a bout that was over before you got settled into your seats. Just continuous pressure, educated head movement, and vicious counters, Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is exactly what Jay is known for when he's not being an absolute troll of a person. He's actually very talented at UFC 5. So congratulations, unfortunately, in my book, to Jay. That moves him to 5-0 and remains the Xbox champion. Hopefully, next time he has to fight on Xbox, he can just have his own Xbox Game Pass and doesn't have to worry about bothering anybody else about theirs. But with that said, let's go ahead and move backwards in time. Let's see if we can pull up MG's fight. I believe they are ready now. Let's see. Who shots? Shots says I'm calling his camp low tier. I don't who are you? Anyway, let's go ahead. We're gonna move on to MG versus Marcus, aka Up to Back. Both very exciting fighters, and quite arguably this might be more worth of a main event than the main event that we just saw play out. So we have moved on over to the fighter lobby. MG, we're coming back to the welterweight division. MG with Leon Edwards and Marcus with the Robbie Lawler. This should be a very exciting fight here, Croton.
Yeah, we'll have to see if MG can make a better performance with Rocky than in the previous bout, but I won with Robbie, the Brawler, Ruthless Lawler up against him in the blue corner. This could be a big firefight and still an opportunity to steal the coveted Fight of the Night title away as we head into this three-round affair in this post-Slim bout.
Yeah, 100%. So let me just, sorry, man, this, the commentary in game is really loud. I had to settle that down there for a moment, Croton. It was getting a little too out of hand, but both guys are doing very good at, so far, you know, despite having only 3 rounds, you know, keeping things patient and trying to make their reads early to find advantage later on.
Yeah, it's nice to see head movement on both players' sides being used, though, cautious, not trying to throw after you slip a punch and avoiding those extended pull wars, as they call it. So, as we see that, it's reflected in the amount of punches landed, a bit limited output, but or they're throwing, but they're not landing because of the excellent defense here, Jedi.
Yeah. Both guys are exhibiting excellent defense. Marcus with a lot of stepping. You know, these little hops to the back or to the side are doing excellently for him in keeping him, you know, both defensively sound, but also setting him up for counter shots that it does not seem like MG has gotten privy to the idea of yet.
Yeah, but we'll see the nice double jab there by I1s. It's pressuring forward with his Robbie Lawler, but actually, for the most part, it does look like MG is taking the center of the octagon. 2.5 minutes left to go. Still time for either player to establish themselves in control of the round and the overall bout, Jedi.
Yeah. MG, like you said, is doing a good job at keeping the center. Marcus looks like he's doing or feeling very confident in staying on the back foot and just, you know, kind of trying to fish for those counter shots.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't come too plentifully yet, so you may want to see both of these guys go to the body, mix up the levels. As I say that, MG does try to go with the teep to the body, but
Mm.
ooh, big counter landed there by Owens or Marcus, who's pressuring forward the minute and a half and a bit educated, trying not to see those punches being canceled. He's trying not to overcommit, Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and feinting shots is something that that I have said for a long time can be such a beneficial tool in the competition scene that you just don't really see a whole lot of people using, unfortunately, or at least not as often as I feel like it could be used as the tool that it is. So, you know, we've started to see over the course of UFC 5 a lot of tools from, you know, even UFC 4, like feinting or like the push mechanic, that are really starting to make a comeback and have a use in this game. So I'm hoping that feints can start to be like that. But we have finally finished the first round of this fight between MG and Marcus. And Croton, who do you have on the score, like, as far as winning?
Yes, definitely a close fight. We did see on the stats, I1 or Marcus did have more in terms of significant strikes, while MG had more in total strikes. I'd slightly lean towards 10-9 Robbie Lawler. He did get the counters off, so although he had less overall output, when he did land it did seem like it did a bit more. But it's a bit of a coin flip, Jedi.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to tell. I'm gonna do my best to keep my opinions to myself in terms of whatever I might think is winning, because we've seen the
Ooh.
judges score differently, but we might not need judges here tonight against Marcus and MG. These guys are looking for both blood and to steal the other man's consciousness.
Yep, and Marcus, we saw him stand up, not pursue too much ground and pound. It looks like he's trying to get the highlight reel KO to cap off what has been a great card so far. But MG, is game is still in his face, even though his block is blinking. But back and forth action here in the middle of round 2, Jedi.
Yeah, a lot of movement and a lot of action coming out of Marcus. He's looking for blood. He can taste it in the water here, Croton. So he is swarming his opponent in MG for just a moment before stepping back and resetting, realizing that the knockout is just not quite there yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, and like you said, excellent distance management, stepping out of the way, making a big body kick whip.
Oh,
Ooh, massive body hook and a
oh,
lead hook. This could be the beginning of the
oh, he's
end.
hurt.
I
Oh,
was massive ground and
oh!
pound. It's all over.
That was it. That's all it took. A couple extra shots and one follow-up shot on the way down, and in classic Robbie Lawler fashion, he's able to get a fantastic win. Look at this beautiful movement and series of punches that puts his man away for the last time tonight.
Yeah, well said. That lateral movement shifting into each of those hooks ultimately seals the deal. And what was a great fight. I'm glad we got to go back to and witness.
Yeah, definitely very much worth being the last fight that's shown for Total Conflict MMA 3. Congratulations to Marcus. Again, you know, both guys are known for living and dying by the sword, so very much going to have been an excellent, entertaining, exciting fight, and that's exactly what it was. So, congratulations, quite frankly, to both guys, but mostly to Marcus on an excellent win. Croton, we have finally come to the end of our card and the end of the stream. I appreciate you so much for being here with me tonight. Can we get your final thoughts on Total Conflict MMA 3 before we go?
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was an exciting card from top to bottom, especially with some big moments in terms of comeback KO or just barn burners with back and forth battles. So, all in all, glad to have been here. I want to give a thank you to Total Conflict for having me, as well as the audience for partaking in this glorious fight watching with us.
Definitely, the audience played all the viewers played a huge role as they always do in Total Conflict. So we appreciate everyone stopping by. This was an excellent card. Shout out once more to GFC for the raid earlier. We appreciate all of you. Signups for the next Total Conflict MMA card are going up shortly. Total Conflict Undisputed will be back next week. As you know, same time, same place every Friday for Undisputed. Same thing goes for MMA every Sunday. My name is Baron Von Jedi. This is Croton, and we have had an excellent night of fights. We wish you all the best. You guys have a great night. Be real, be good, be real good.